Yeah, Professor sir, can we start now?
Yes, sir, we can start, sir.
Okay, okay.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome for today's morning session. So we are happy to have Dr. B.Chidambararajan, sir, with us. Dr. B.Chidambararajan, a passionate teacher, has always invested innovative teaching nuances to reach students. He is a member of professional societies like CSI, IETE, IEI, ISTE, ISOI, etc. He is the National Executive Council member of ISTE and Chairperson Division, IV of Computer Society of India. He is also the academic advisor in National Cyber Safety Security Standards and member of Academic Council of Anna University, Chennai. So he has published more than 60 technical papers in national and international reputed journals. He has published more than 20 technical articles about advanced computer technologies in CSI communications. He has authored 4 book chapters in Springer book series. Sir has also authored a technical book in Tamil titled Valai Vastu Varga, which is one of his remarkable contributions to Tamil. He has organized more than 100 technical events like FDP conferences, workshops, and webinars. He was awarded Education Leadership Award by Devang Mehta National Education Awards in the year 2017, a national level prestigious CSI Patron Award by Computer Society of India in the year 2020. He has also received the Faculty with Maximum Publication Award from CSI in the year 2020. He is now executing his responsibilities as Principal, SRM-VEC Engineering College. So, sir, thanks for accepting our invitation and being here, sir. We kindly look forward for your session. Please, sir.
Thank you very much for the introduction. A very good morning to every one of you. Today I am very happy to meet you all on this occasion. And I am very happy to be part of this today's AICTE-ISTE induction or refresher program on strategies in teaching and learning. First of all, I thank the SRM management, principal and the coordinator for giving me the opportunity to give a presentation today. So with this introduction, let me move into the topic, the excellence in teaching and learning, the importance and effective methods of online teaching pedagogy. If you see, for a long period, there won't be much transformation in the sector of education. In olden days, of course, the method used was Gurukula method, where the students or Shishyas used to visit Guru's place, offered him Guru Tachana, nothing but tuition fees, and learned some skills. Later on, probably due to the introduction of specialization and all, to learn more things from more experts, probably the concept has come like school and colleges. There, the students as well as the guru or teachers visits a particular place, a common place like school or colleges. There, the teaching and learning happening. And during this corona, that is after the March, during this COVID-19 period, a slight transformation has been taken place. In that case, the students as well as teachers are meeting virtually, that person in that place, but teaching and learning is happening now. So this is the small transformation happened after a long time. So in all the cases, what is very important is teaching and learning. What is very important is teaching and learning, irrespective of the place where whether the student is going to meet the teacher or virtually teacher is going to meet the student through some online platforms or in a common place where the teacher and students are meeting. Teaching and learning is very, very important. That is why today my presentation is, I start with basic and foundations about teaching and learning. And finally, I'm going to conclude with the effective methods of online teaching pedagogy. And remember, in some countries, of course, there are only in few countries, the teaching profession is considered at par with the top professions like medical, judicial, etc., etc. only in few countries. There, the recruitment process is very, very tough. Getting recruited as a teacher is a tough task. Only those who are highly qualified will get that opportunities. But in many countries, the situation is not like that. Even if you take, for example, our country, the teaching profession is least preferred by the students because if they don't get any job, they will try. There may be many reasons for fetching a teaching job. Probably unemployment, or probably they wanted to settle in their hometown. Probably they may have some other businesses, along with they wanted to manage with some decent job. So there may be many reasons for fetching a teaching job in our country. Similarly, even student side, whether they are interested or not, due to some pressure, peer pressure or some other pressure, or due to job opportunities, students are also choosing certain courses without any interest. So these parts are controversial parts, we need not discuss. At the same time, once you choose a particular profession as your career, then you have to justify your presence there. So with that, I am going to start my presentation. The goals of teaching. The first one is teaching to justify our existence, whether you are interested or not, whether with passion in teaching you have joined this profession or not. Due to unemployment, you have joined this profession, you may think of that, you may be here for 1 or 2 years, then you may leave, whatever may be the reason. But from the day one, you have to show your presence. That is very, very important. And similarly, teaching is to impress. There are few jobs, many jobs are there. You can do your work to your satisfaction, but this job is not like that. You have to do your work to the satisfaction of students. That is very, very important. So teaching is to impress. Similarly, teaching to improve learning outcomes. Because whatever the work you are doing, you have to expect some outcome from that. Even nowadays, statutory bodies as well as universities, colleges, management, they are expecting outcome from each and every one of you. Similarly, you have to improve learnability, both yourself as well as for the students. The learnability is an important quality. By means of teaching, you have to improve the learnability. Next. So which factor you need to become a good teacher? You may think of many factors, probably a good qualification, undergraduate degree or postgraduate degree or PhD or degree completed in reputed institutions. You may think many parameters, but the important parameter is mastery over the subject. If you want to become a good teacher, you should have a thorough, in-depth knowledge about the subject what you are going to teach. That is very important. So mastery over the subject is the only parameter you need to become a good teacher. So when will you get expertise? Expertise is nothing but the function of initial training, experience, sustained efforts to update, and your energy and enthusiasm. So these parameters combine to make you an expert in a particular topic. And remember, mastery is not a permanent parameter, it's an elusive one, unless otherwise you upgrade yourself. Because all the fields are evolving, hence mastery quickly vanishes. So if you want to have that mastery permanently, you need to update yourself according to the development, technology developments, etc., etc. So it follows inverted U curve. You can reach mastery, and to sustain with that mastery level, you have to do a lot of work like updation, sustained efforts to update. You have to show your energy, enthusiasm, etc., etc. So instructional varieties, these are all very important to retain the students inside the classroom to listen to your lecture. So what are the instructional varieties? So during this 5-6 days of program, you might have come across all these varieties like flipped classroom, blended learning, cooperative teaching, jigsaw method of teaching, gamification, adaptive teaching and learning. These are all some of the methods of instructional varieties, and you are expected to apply these varieties or any one or any two or any three of the varieties, whatever required during your teaching. So there is no need to apply all the methods for a single subject. All it depends on subject content quality, whether subject is a theoretical, analytical, etc., etc. But remember that these methods are used to attract the students, to enrich the students with knowledge, to make them to learn, to make them to maximum learning, etc., etc. for that. And remember, these terminologies you might have come across in the last few years only, but even 30 years back in the early 90s, I remember that I applied all these techniques during my teaching, but I don't know the name, like flipped classroom, blended learning, but I have applied all these techniques during my teaching. So these things comes under your boundary. You should know how to deliver. You should know how to attract the students. You should know how to make the students to learn. For that, there are techniques. Nowadays, we need to provide step-by-step procedure. These are all techniques. You have to utilize these techniques according to the need and demand. The ability of the teacher to engage students in the learning process. Remember, students' attention is very less during your 1 hour lecture. Normally, I used to tell 20 to 30 minutes, but for the past 10, 15 years, I'm telling that the students' attention should be 20 to 30 minutes. But if you search now, the attention level has come down further, probably 5 to 10 minutes or 10 to 15 minutes only. So you have to make the students attending to your lecture by all means. Otherwise, keeping the students' attention is a challenging one nowadays. So how to make the students to attend your lecture? That is your task, toughest task, but you have to do. How? So by using varieties of instructional techniques or by providing necessary examples. Whenever you teach something, you have to quote some examples. So probably own examples will be more attractive to the students. Students get connected to the concept and solve problems yourself first and assess where the students face difficulties, because you should not ask the students to solve the problems. You try yourself, then only you can able to find out where the students will get stuck. Then you can indicate the points to the students to solve the problems. So always you have to help the students and you have to make the students to feel that you are there to help. So teaching many times help to anticipate difficult questions for the students to help and as well as to gain control. So these are the important points and for the abilities of the teacher to engage students in the learning process. And teacher's task process. So sense of time is very, very important. So whenever you are going to handle the classes, you have to reach the class on time. You have to start the topic and you have to end the topic on time. So you have to utilize the whole period fully from the start to end. Normally in my college, I used to instruct all the staff members to visit classroom 5 minutes prior to the start. So that indirectly that will put pressure to the current staff member to come out at the correct time so that he can enter at the on time to the class. He can able to handle the classes fully, utilizing the full hour. So using class time well and make students understand the importance of time. So commitment is very, very important. So you have to, by the way of your presence to the classes on time and completion of syllabus properly and the completion of that portion, that hour properly, by the way of your presence and your activities, you have to indirectly, either directly or indirectly indicate the students that time is very, very important. That is why today also, sharply 10 o'clock, I entered into the virtual classroom. I started my lecture. Being fair consistently, and you have to develop patience when posed tough questions. That is very, very important because students normally tend to raise many questions. If you encourage, they will get motivated to ask more and more questions. If you discourage, definitely the interaction will come down. That will reflect in the learning process. So develop patience when posed tough questions. Try to answer as much as possible. If not possible, no problem. Don't worry. You can tell them that tomorrow I'll tell you. The next class when you enter, you have to clear that doubt. Then only you have to start the new topic. So learn to like all the students. Don't be partial. So don't show any partiality among the students. Whether the student may be a bright student or the student may be a dull student. So or maybe you have to treat everything as similar fashion. So learn to like all the students. Try to support all the students according to their skill and talent level. Avoid comparing the students inside the class because they are all teenagers. And if you start comparing, that they may think that you are teasing the students in front of their classmates, maybe boys or girls. So avoid comparing the students inside the classes to avoid some awkward situations. Never say in an open classroom that a question is bad. Don't discourage any students. Whatever may be the level of the questions, you try to answer politely, or you try to convince the students, or you encourage the students to ask the right questions at the right time. Create an ambience favorable for learners. Always it's your responsibility. As I mentioned already, you have to give the feeling to the students that you are there for the care of students. That is very important. So create an ambience favorable for learners. So teacher represent hope for the student. So because many times blindly students trust the teachers and teachers' words. So only few students, depending upon the school where they have studied their schooling studies. Some schools develops those skills in such a way that independently they can learn the topics. In most of the schools, they are trained students to follow the instructions of the teachers. So many students will follow simply blindly the instructions given by the teachers. So you should be very careful when you give such students. So you have to give complete hope and confidence to the students as much as possible. So need to maintain atmosphere of good feelings inside the classroom. So encourage students for challenges. Even you can challenge the students for certain tasks. So always you have to encourage students for challenges. That will motivate students to go and learn beyond syllabus. So this one is enthusiasm. You have to be proud about what you are doing. So about profession, about what is being taught. So whenever you enter the class, you have to complete the task. And when you leave the classroom, you should have a proud feeling when you come out. Today, I have completed the talks successfully. Many students have learned something. I can able to see the faces of the students' satisfaction. Like that, you have to feel proudly when you come out of the class every time. So you have to become a co-learner. So you are not a complete, don't say that I know everything. You are also in the learning mode. So parallelly, along with students, you are also learning something and you are guiding the students for learning further. And treat every class is a new class. So once you got this job, you might have prepared well to attend the first class, right? For taking one class, you might have spent 2 or 3 hours for the preparations, collection of materials, course materials, and you might have done some rehearsals, etc., etc. So same sort of preparation you should have for each and every class. That is very important. So you have to treat each and every class as a new class, and you have to give that much importance and concentration to deliver that class. Never hesitate to consult senior colleagues. So a lot of politics will be there in any profession, of course, in teaching, senior, junior, those type of politics will be there, but don't hesitate to consult senior persons for any clarifications because seniors having experience, they might have seen students for many years and many occasions, they might have come across many situations. So whenever you feel something you wanted to know, you don't hesitate to consult your senior colleagues. And of course, sometimes they may give you additional works, and don't hesitate to accept that works also. Because I remember when I was in a government college, my head of the department used to give a lot of works, of course, his works to me. And I started doing those works and I started learning many things. Because of that, I was able to learn a lot during those period. That helps me to do my work efficiently, as well as I learned a lot of administration from them also. So always don't hesitate to do additional works whenever the senior persons uh, try to give some works to you. Don't hesitate. Similarly, never hesitate to consult junior colleagues also. Don't think that they are all juniors. Then why should I ask like that? Because they know technology more than you. So always consult, get the help of juniors. Similarly, consult, get the support of seniors. That is very, very important. So no junior or senior hesitation should not be there. Methods by which teachers find ways to effect higher success rate among learners. Self-evaluation and self-criticism. That is very important. Of course, colleges or universities may get some feedback from the students, but even every day you can see the feedback from the faces and the responses from the students, right? When you complete your class, by seeing the students' faces, you can able to understand whether your classes conducted well or not, right? So self-evaluation is very, very important. Self-criticism, whatever the comments given by the students or colleagues, you have to accept, admit, and you have to correct yourself. That will help you to improve your quality, to enhance your quality, make you a better teacher. Never try to defend the indefensible. If you made any mistakes, admit and correct yourself. Don't try to justify the mistake again and again. Maybe in front of the students, it may be in front of your staff members, it may be in front of your HOD or principal. If you made any mistake, try to admit and correct yourself. Don't repeat the mistake again. That is very important. Redo the work until you are satisfied that they are satisfied. So to the student's satisfaction, you have to work. If you are not satisfied that the students are not satisfied, then you redo the work again and again. Even if you handle one particular class, if you are not satisfied with that presentation, you tell them that once again I'm going to handle the same class again next day. No issues. Because the student's satisfaction and understanding is very, very important than completing the job. And there's a rule called 10,000 hour rule. What do you mean by 10,000 hour rule? You go to Google and search 10,000 hour rule. Immediately you will get this answer. The author, Malcolm Gladwell, has written a book called Outliers, the Story of Success. So when you search in the Google, immediately you will get. This author is doing some literature survey or research by taking few samples of successful happenings. For example, he examines the factors that contribute to high level of success. In his book, he has written all the details by examining the factors that contribute to high level of success. He has taken some examples like Canadian ice hockey players, because mostly if you see the ice hockey players, only the Canadian ice hockey players always used to receive medals. And similarly, Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates, the success story of Bill Gates. Similarly, Beatles, the successful musical act. These are the examples taken by this author, and he did some analysis, research work. Finally, he concluded with that rule, 10,000 hours rule. So what is 10,000 hour rule? The key of achieving world-class expertise in any skill is to a large extent of practicing a correct way for a total of around 10,000 hours. If you want to have a skill to international level, then you have to practice that skill for at least 10,000 hours. That is why normally you see the sports personalities, they started their career training right from the age of 7 or 8. So in the age of 18 or 19, they'll become international standard players. So it took at least 10 years because, for example, if you train for a particular skill for 3 hours, if you train for a particular skill for 3 hours, it will take 10 years to become expertise in that particular skill. That is why all the sports personalities started their training right from the age of 8 or 9. Then in the age of 18 or 19, they'll become international players. So the 10,000 hours is very, very important to get expertise in a particular skill. In teaching, imagine you are handling classes for 2 hours or 3 hours per day. Then if you practice 2 or 3 hours per day, it will take at least 10 years. So normally a good teacher, if you want to become a good teacher or a great teacher, you need at least 10 years expertise or experience. So this is called the 10,000 hours rule. So many are talking about quantity or quality. So which is important, quantity time or quality time? So if I ask you, normally most of you may answer quality time is very important, right? But it is not like that. Research clearly shows that quantity time is more important than quality time. It doesn't mean that quality time is not important. Not to say quality time is not important, but quantity time is more important than quality time. Why? If you teach certain topics for 1 month, if you give a leave for 2 months, after 2 months, if you ask the students, the knowledge he gained will get drained quickly. So you have to remind the topics, you have to teach the topics again and again till the completion of the portions. That will make the students to understand well. So the interference is that one has to keep at it for a very long time. That is very important for remembering the important topics. For example, constant dropping of water wears away a stone. You may think water, how the water wears away a stone, but constant dropping of water wears away a stone. That is why when you compare quality and quantity time is more important as far as teaching is concerned. You have to teach again and again and again. Again, good teaching. So when you enter the class in the classroom, ensure oversmart or not bored, because inside the classroom there are 60 plus students will be there. Set of students will have more intelligence. Some students will have average intelligence. Some students will have below average. So you have to take care of all the category of students. So ensure oversmart or not bored, average or not threatened. Pitching the material at the right level is very, very important. Pitching the material at the right level is very important. Because you are going to handle classes not for a particular set of students, for all the students. So anyone should not get bored of attending your lecture. Of course, we can provide additional material according to the interest of the students, but the common material what you are going to deliver in the classroom should be attended by all the students. So you have to plan in such a way that the material you are going to deliver inside the classroom, it should meet the requirement of all the category of students. So relate with latest topics and happenings around. So whenever you handle the classes, handle the topic, always relate with the latest happenings. Some examples, what you have seen in the newspaper or journals or magazine or television, etc., etc. You quote those examples when you conduct any classes. That will make students to get interested in attending the classes. So what are the challenges in teaching? So again, if you search the challenge versus skill matrix in the Google, just enter challenge versus skill matrix, you will get this diagram. The graphical representation you will get in different colors, different formats. This is constant, not only for teaching for any profession, you can use this challenge versus skill matrix. There one side, one axis you have skill, another axis you have challenge. When you have low skill, when you have low challenge, apathy. When you have high skill, when you have low challenge, relaxation. When you have low skill, when you have high challenge, anxiety. When you have both high skills as well as high challenge, flow. Flow is nothing but expertise. So if you want to have a flow in your teaching, you have to match your skill with respect to the challenge. Right? You can even assume skill is the amount of learning you have for teaching. A challenge is nothing but the level of students. Challenge is nothing but the level of students. So this is the matrix. You can use this matrix for any professions, of course. So if your skill is low and if your challenge is low, of course, there is no use. When your skill is low and your challenge is high, anxiety, it's very difficult. You are not at all useful for a teaching profession. When you have a skill equal to the challenge, then there will be a flow. So you are able to manage, you are able to convince, you are able to give a good learning to the students. So flow is nothing but a single-minded focus. Skill is balanced by challenge. So what are the major issues you are facing as a challenge in teaching? Rapidly changing curriculum. Nowadays, of course, 10 years back, not much change in the curriculum. It will be happened only in 5 or 6 years. So we can have some idea about the curriculum and syllabus. We can prepare well, we can handle and enrich the students with knowledge. But nowadays, the curriculum is changing rapidly and changing students' preference also. And similarly changing employee preferences and similarly employer requirements. These are all important parameters or challenges we are facing in teaching. The students are telling that if you are for an IT student, if you offer a basics of civil and mechanical, he may ask, why should I learn civil and mechanical? He is asking nowadays. You have to explain what is the reason for providing a civil and mechanical as a basic subject for IT student. How this subject will be useful in future. You have to explain clearly, you have to convince the students. Previously, no students will ask like that, but nowadays people have started asking, why should I study this subject? Why should I study that subject? If this is not necessary for me to learn. So people are asking. So you have to justify, you have to give reasons properly to convince the students to learn such things. Similarly, employers, they are having some certain requirements. Previously, after recruitment, the employer will train the candidates for their jobs. Nowadays, they expected from the day one, they wanted that employee to work for that company. So further, they are expecting the colleges to train the students. So a lot of challenges nowadays we are facing. Lot of pressure on faculty that we have to admit. Because statutory bodies like AICTE, UGC, Anna University, even management is asking lot of things other than teaching. Like, have you published any articles? Have you published papers in international conferences, journals, national conferences? Have you filed a patent? Have you fetched a fund by applying in government organizations? Have you applied any project? Have you got any fund like that? Make the students employable. So these are all the pressure or task you have to perform other than teaching nowadays. This may be helpful for you to enhance your career, for career advancement, for recruitment, whatever may be. But of course, you have to admit. So once you are in teaching, the thing is the government is thinking that you are capable of doing research. Once you become expertise, as I mentioned, after 10,000 hours rule, after 10,000 hour rule, after 10 years you'll become an expert in teaching, then you have the capacity to do research work, you have the capacity to do, find some innovative ideas so that you can file the patents, you have the capacity to do some new projects so that by applying the project you can able to fetch the funds. Similarly, you can make students employable by your talent and training. So these are all major task challenges we are facing nowadays in teaching. And of course, the last one is clerical work. I remember when I started my career 30 years back, the staff member comes and handle the classes. They will write the attendances in a bit of piece of paper. They'll put that attendance paper into the box, which was fixed in the outside door of the classroom. That's all. Thereafter, office people will come and collect their papers. They will maintain attendance, everything. Nowadays, everything has to be taken care of by the staff member. They have to maintain their attendance. They have to meet the students. They have to counsel the students. They have to meet the parents. So, a lot of challenges are there nowadays as a teacher. Syllogism. So you have a lot of doubt what to do because certain things are, you may, if you say 2 points, both points are correct, but you don't know which point you have to adopt. For example, make students more employable or make aware of opportunities in entrepreneurship. Similarly, another point, focus on fundamentals or focus on current technologies. Both are required, right? Similarly, whether we have to offer standard package of teaching material or we have to customize teaching materials according to interest and preparations. So, a lot of things, but you have to adopt either one or both, etc., depending upon the students and the interest and the requirement. So, those things you have to take care of. Greatness in education. So far what we have studied is challenges, tasks, and points for a good teacher. Now let us see greatness in education. So there is a difference between good teachers and great teachers. Good teachers make the best of a people means by the quote of Maria Callas. Great teachers foresee the people ends. So what is taught may be different from what is learned. You have to monitor the students' learning. So you should not say that I have completed my syllabus, I have finished my work like that. You have to ensure the outcome, whether the students learned as much as possible from your teaching, whether they are able to do something from your teaching, whether they are doing some projects from the learning they had from your teaching. So like that you have to ensure the outcome. So what is taught may be different from what is learned. The power of examples, again and again I'm telling you, the power of examples in teaching and learning is very, very important. Always you have to quote some examples whenever, wherever possible. So varieties enhances the quality. So as mentioned, so even in my previous slides, I mentioned that instructional varieties. So you should not be monotonous. You have to give as much as possible varieties when you provide teaching. Try creating creative examples. Try examples whenever it is possible, feasible, and to break the monotonous. So as I mentioned, nowadays, within 5 to 10 or 10 to 15 minutes, the students' concentration level has come down. So you have to notice the students' faces frequently, constantly. Whenever you find something wrong, then you have to provide suitable quotes, examples, happenings, etc., to bring back the attention of the students towards your teaching. Another important point is you have to teach your students to learn as well as think innovatively. So that has to be start from you first. So thinking unusually is very, very important. Think differently, think unusually is very, very important. This has to start from yourself so that will be followed by your students. For example, I'll give you an example. Phosphoric flop is nothing but a technique followed in an athlete high jump, leaning backward. That is, phosphoric flop is a style used in the athletics event or high jump. It is nothing but leaning backward. This technique is not a standard technique for the high jump. This is followed by a particular athlete called American athlete Dick Fosbury. That is why the method, leaning backward method, is called as Fosbury flop. He got gold medal in the year 1968 by following this method of high jump. This is the first time he introduced this. Previously, nobody has followed this type of high jump, but by introducing this, he found that by leaning backward, he was able to get few centimeters to inches more height in high jump. So after seeing this technique, all the other followers, athletes started following this technique, and this technique has been now the trend for the high jump. So this is the innovation by a particular athlete, Dick Fosbury. That is why this method is called as Fosbury flop. Otherwise, normally they used to have a regular jump where they get lower range of height during their high jump. So similarly, it is expected as a teacher, you have to find innovative ways during your teaching, as well as you have to encourage students to think innovatively. For example, another example, helicopter shot. This is considered not as a conventional shot, considered as an unconventional and innovative stroke. Of course, previously, even Mohammad Azharuddin sometimes used this type of shot, but Mahendra Singh Dhoni introduced this and popularized this helicopter shot. Similarly, Apple brand is famous mainly because of security facility. That is why all major big business magnates started using Apple brand only because of the security facility available there. So change in anything always starts with you. So you have to think differently, thinking unusually, and you have to encourage students to think innovatively. That will lead to many things. Stand for student potential. So in general, there are 12 qualities of genius that are not commonly considered at school and colleges. Each and every kid will have these 12 qualities during their birth: curiosity, playfulness, imagination, creativity, wonder, wisdom, inventiveness, vitality, sensitivity, flexibility, humor, and joy. And of course, later on, depending upon the environment where they are growing, depending upon the school where they are studying, depending upon the college, some of the qualities may vanish, and at least, my opinion, they may have at least 3 or 4 qualities during their study in the college. So it is your responsibility to identify such qualities and encourage students to explore those things so that the students will get the maximum success in their life. So how can we ensure that these qualities are valued and matured? How do we reach students who struggles academically? How to realize their unique gifts, talents, and abilities? How do you unleash curiosity, creativity, and exploration? These are all important tasks to be performed by a teacher. Because remember, even you can take, for example, in television reality shows, for example, dance or singing, the judges used to say there is no soul in the singing, there's no feel in the singing. What do you mean by soul and feel? You have to involve fully when you perform a task. That is what the reality shows the judges are expecting. When a candidate is singing a song, soul should be there, feel should be there, like that. Similarly, when you perform your job, teaching, you have to take all-round performances. You have to see each and every candidate and their caliber and the qualities, their special calibers, talents, etc., and you have to encourage the students to come out. So these are all very important tasks to perform as a great teacher. So as I mentioned, research is also a part of teacher, and you have to do research. whether you are willing or not. Statutory bodies are expecting. Experienced staff member has to do research also. You have to do research, you have to apply for fund, you have to file for patents, etc. Is it needed or not? But of course, those who are doing research, I'm not going to talk about the research, whether it is needed or not, but doing research helps you to deliver your material during the class better compared to previous days. So when you are doing research, you started analyzing a particular domain in depth, that helps you to deliver much good material during your class. So new and better examples you are capable of delivering. Change in perspective, way of thinking and presentation, that helps you to teach much better. And of course, survey and study says that always a good teachers are found to be active in research too. So if you perform as a good teacher or great teacher, obviously you are capable of doing research also. In turn, research will help you to deliver good material to the students for better learning. So ultimately, after seeing all those things, a teacher is expected to prepare a quality course material for better delivery. So any teacher, they have been allotted a subject, then they have to prepare a lesson plan, course material, delivery procedures, delivery varieties, etc., etc. So they have to prepare course material. The basic and the preliminary preparation is based on the textbook, the reference books. Of course, nowadays you are getting many online contents also, all multimedia contents. So by referring your textbook, reference book, online contents, and by quoting the examples from other sources, because as a new faculty, if you are new to the field, don't have any your own examples. So you have to take examples from other sources. You have to collect material from textbook, reference book, online, and you have to understand the contents, assimilate, and you have to rewrite the course material. This will be your first own notes. Once you are prepared, once you are capable of preparing your own notes, now you are ready for handling your classes. So this is the first step for preparing your own notes. Don't hesitate to refer many books, because nowadays I am seeing that most of the staff members are either taking a particular book, preparing a notes, or copying that points from that book to his notes material, delivering the same. You need to verify the contents at least 5 to 6, 7 books. I remember I took a lot of time to prepare my notes. I have to take during my teaching periods. I referred at least 5 to 10 books to prepare a particular notes. So it is very, because once you prepare, it's very difficult to change the content, right? So the start itself, the material should have a high quality. So I have to refer many books as much as possible. And from that, you have to take extracts. You have to understand and assimilate, and you have to prepare your own notes. This is the first step for the course material preparation. As you become expertise in a particular subject, for the second time, when you prepare the course material, you have to enhance your course material. That is why I mentioned that course material 1 or 1 notes to course material 2 or improved version. So always when you handle the same subject again and again, you should not keep the same course material, and you should not use the same course material again and again. You have to enhance, you have to update. Otherwise, your mastery level will come down. So always you have to update again and again. So you have to prepare an improved version of course material by the way of Nowadays, now you have some expertise after preparation of course material 1. You can quote your own examples, and you can get, already you might have conducted one class for that students, previous year students. So you might have got some feedback from the students. So with the feedback and with your own notes, and you can convert your own written notes into electronic format, PPT, PDF, or video slides, etc. And you can enhance, you can improve your course material into course material 2, improved version of your old course material. This is the second step for the preparation of course material. And third step, of course, by the time you will become a good teacher, you might have few years of experience. So now you are capable of writing course material 2 to course material 3. Yes, you might have started doing research also. So insights from state-of-the-art research, feedback from the students, and insight and examples from your own research, you are capable of writing a better notes compared to your previous notes. That notes is nothing but course material 3. This is nothing but equal to publishing a book. So these are the steps to prepare your course materials. Now let us move into online classes. Because whether willingly or not willingly, after COVID-19, we started utilizing online platforms for conducting classes. Of course, the online platforms were already available even before the corona period, but we didn't get any opportunity or necessity to utilize those things. But due to COVID-19, we have got the necessity to utilize the online platforms. At the same time, the online platform service providers also given this opportunity at free of cost. That is why all the schools and colleges started utilizing that online platform for teaching. Of course, I can say that the only company providing this online platform for teaching are the one who got multifold businesses during this corona period. Yes, everyone is started utilizing this online platform, even for a home family meeting, even for a small firms. Everybody started using this online platform. Nowadays, all the teachers and students, of course, are familiar with this online platform started, and teachers are immediately started utilizing these online platforms, and they have started preparing course contents, digital contents, multimedia contents to match with these online platforms to deliver the same to the students. What are the advantages of taking online classes? Of course, flexibility from the home, so that person from that place able to connect each other through this virtual platform at any time. So if the students are interested, you can start your classes even early morning, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, or even late evening, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. So any day, any time, there is no holiday. So that is the main advantage of taking online classes. There is no need of declaring holiday, no need of declaring timings. If both are interested, you can conduct classes through online. Reduced cost, of course. There's no travel, there's no food, mess charges, etc., etc. So at a lesser cost, the same learning you're able to provide through this online. Networking opportunities. Students are getting a lot of opportunity to meet new experts, new teachers, because in online anybody can join in any classes. Even for example, a particular subject is handled by 2 staff members, you can give option to the students to join any class. Those things are very much possible in online classes. And of course, whatever you are dealing, teaching, delivering can be recorded digitally. So all the materials are available. Even at a later time, you can refer, you can see, students can learn. And increased contact time. As I mentioned, you can meet the students again and again whenever they want. So these are all some of the advantages of taking online classes. What are the disadvantages now? Connectivity, latency, data shortage issues, of course, students are nowadays started complaining about, because depending upon the geographical area, signal level, data shortage, etc. are there. These are all some of the disadvantages. Of course, easily we can overcome the power backup, etc. and all. If you plan properly, you can overcome all those things, disadvantages. Lack of practical session, of course. Hands-on experience is very difficult to provide through online classes. Though staff members tried as much as possible by taking video recordings, etc., etc., but it's very difficult to provide hands-on experience. Difficulty in explaining analytical subjects, though they have whiteboard or blackboard concepts are there even in digital learning. And sometimes when you have too much of analytical derivations and all, it's very difficult to explain. Similarly, it's very difficult, as I mentioned, it's very difficult to see the feedback from the students. You cannot see the students' faces, whether they understood or not, we don't know. So it's very difficult. Explaining the analytical subjects require more time than on-campus classes. You need to contact students again and again to convince to deliver more material. And similarly, easier to procrastinate. The laziness will come because nobody is there close to student to alert, to motivate, monitor. So it is up to him to concentrate, attend, up to the commitment, etc., etc. So some sort of laziness will come that will degrade the learning procedures. Need good time management skills. Yes, of course. The same explanation I can give. Creating a sense of isolation. Though the students are complaining, attending in online platform, they are sitting alone inside their premises, their home. So some sort of isolation is there. And normally, remember, the learning is not only because of a teacher teaching something. A complete learning, 25% is learning through the teacher's teaching, and another 25% by doing experiments he is learning, another 25% by his own learning, by reading books and all, another 25% by discussing with the friends. So by sitting inside the home, learning something through online, he is missing that 25%. So all those things comes into picture for a 100% learning. So future of online classes, of course, statutory bodies have started telling about at least 20 to 40% in future. Students should learn through online, more courses, NPTEL courses, etc. So there's a possibility of providing 20 to 30% online courses in future also, even after the pandemic period. The advantage is flexibility and standard throughout the India, and choice and option, education accessible, because students can access the course anywhere from any places. Another thing, I imagine that after 5 or 10 years, sometimes, this is my imagination, student can register a program in a university, and they can opt for registering courses in any number of colleges, depending upon the quality of the course. So in that case, I imagine that depending upon the standard and expertise of the teacher, demand will be there. Probably in future, after 5 or 10 years, students are permitted to register a particular course in a particular college. Similarly, another course in another college, depending upon the expertise in that college they are having. And even the tuition fees may be split into course-wise fees. So some sort of things may come in future also. So there's a possibility of different ways of learning will be there in future. So finally, tips to make online teaching better, because nowadays we are teaching through online. You have to ensure, just I'm giving you certain points, try to ensure these things before handling the classes. or before starting the class. So always for each and every class, ensure what is your curriculum delivery plan, what preparations have you done, are you formally dressed up? That is very important. You have to ensure whether you formally dressed up, and similarly, you have to expect the students should formally dressed up. Though the platform is virtual, digital, ensure these are all very important. It will provide a good ambience for teaching and learning. So what is the back end from which you are seen? That is also very important. So some online meetings I have seen that behind me or behind a speaker, somebody is moving here and there. That will disturb the concentration. Some awkward positions. So either better you have a plain wall itself is enough as a background. So ensure a good background is there in front of behind you. Have you done a presentation rehearsal? So always whenever you plan a class, before that you try to rehearse whether the delivery materials are proper, able to deliver, etc., etc. What are the alternate strategies if the technology fails? Always you have to keep certain alternate methods. For example, if I fail to produce you the share, if there is any problem in sharing my slides, I have I have my printout of slides, so I can able to deliver even if I fail to share my. Similarly, if I have some problem with my networking, I have some other alternate method of even by through mobile I can do. So like that, you have to do some alternate. You have to plan. If there is anything wrong with the technology, then what alternate you have to do like that. How do you plan to draw the attention in the first few minutes? That is very, very important, because if you miss that, students simply switch off the video and leave the hall. You may think that you are talking to the students, but there won't be any students in front of you. So the initial few minutes attraction is very, very, very important. That only you can retain the students to position for your teaching and learning. Similarly, what is your body language? Do your presentation have varieties and dynamics, as I mentioned? To get the attention of the students frequently, you have to show some varieties and dynamics. How sophisticated your spoken language, that is also very important. How much you let your learners to interact, you have to allow at least for 5 or 10 minutes, either in the beginning or at the end of the class, to discuss. That will refresh the students to learn much better. Do you have fun and humor inside the class? Again, for the attention sake. How would you like to respond when there is a parental intervention? Remember, you are teaching to the students through this virtual media, but maybe their parents, father or mother, or grandparents, grandfather or grandmother may attend your lecture parallelly. So remember, you are not only teaching to your ward, probably your ward's friends or father or mother or even relative may attend. So be very careful when you deliver the content. How do you plan to manage students' interruptions during the delivery? How do you plan to manage a crisis? These are all important points you ask yourself and prepare when you handle the classes. So as per the Albert Einstein quote, I never teach my pupils, I only attempt to provide the conditions in which they can learn. That is very, very important. As you become a good teacher to great teacher, you have the capacity to provide and the opportunity to students to learn. That is very, very important. And my presentations are based on the inspirations I had from the presentations of my senior professors. I searched some materials from Google and based on my own experiences. Thank you very much for the opportunity given. And if you have any doubts, you can ask. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir. Very nice presentation and also informative presentation. Thank you very much, sir, for your spending your valuable time with us for the past 1.5 hours. I thank you. Really inspirational presentation, sir. How the teacher will be in a great teacher when comparing to the good teacher. Both you discussed it a lot, and also you covered the portion of online teaching, effective online teaching also. and also the essential quality of the teachers. I think this section is the most valuable section for us as a faculty community. We can follow your advice and also we can follow your methods, what you quoted in this in your presentation in future, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, if participants, if you are having any specific queries or any doubts or clarifications, kindly interact with our Chidambararajan sir, Principal, Valiam Engineering College. Kindly unmute yourself and then ask or interact. But the participants are put their feedback in the chat box, sir. Very good section, nice section. Thank you, sir. Informative section, very nice presentation, sir. Thank you, sir. Excellent section. Arul mentioned, Mr. Arul mentioned, thank you, sir. Really, your section will enhance my performance. Sir. Thank you, Arul. Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much, sir. On the office of SRM of Technology Management and Department of Mechanical Engineering, I kindly express my sincere thanks to our Principal, Valiam Engineering College, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, once again. Thank you.
Yeah, thank
all
you.
The very best to all the participants. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Participants, kindly fill your feedback form for our today's first section. If we will continue the another section at 11:30, kindly wait for that for our second section. Engineer Dr. Ethiraj from Integral Course Factory, he will come and deliver the lecture about teaching methodology and teaching pedagogy to you people. Just kindly wait on line, or else you have to take at least 10 minutes break and you will join once again.